Hello and welcome to our channel. We are here with a video on Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 7. There is not very much of difference in version 6 and 7 from a basic administration perspective. However, under the hood there is a lot new things are in RHEL 7. This video is produced by Lemon Expert in association with another channel, You My Hacker. Please subscribe both of these channels. You will find awesome content here. Now, bit of history of a Linux, how this system ever came in existence. This system is developed by Linus Torvalds in 1991 as a part of their university project. He made this Linux before graduation, so it's a kind of great. He wanted to name it a free X. Why this is? Back then when Linus was in university, the most popular operating system was a Unix and it was not free. So he used Unix to develop his own operating system, Linux, and he named it Free Unix as a free X. So initially he made it as a desktop OS, but now we can see that Linux is a part of Android. The kernel of Android is in Linux. Actually, Linux kernel is used in Android. Linux is used on Raspberry Pi device. That's a very awesome device. Linux is used by many organizations for their server. That includes prestigious NASA and a satellite. I think Linux is the best operating system for a satellite. They don't install complete Linux in the satellite, however they use modules. That's because of its property. Linux is a kind of a modular operating system where everything is available in module. You can choose which module you want to install and you can make your own operating system according to your requirement. So why Linux? Why Linux means we have so many great operating systems. Before Windows there were free BSD and all other things, but why Linux? Why we choose Linux? What's so great in it? So first thing, Linux is open source. Okay, there are a lot of products which are open source, but this open source offers a high customizability. As I told, Linux is in form of different modules, like suppose one is a GUI, another is some sort of load balancing, one is support Apache server, and one is something else. So you can choose which part or which package you want to make your own operating system. Suppose you need only these two packages, so remove these two packages from your operating system and you will have your own version of operating system whose capability and capacity will be controlled by you. Low system requirements, that's very great point, and that is achieved because of this, because you remove all the unnecessary component from the Linux. So system requirements falls to a bare minimum. Suppose you are installing a server, so what will you do with GUI? So don't install the GUI component, that is X11. So you will have a server without GUI but works as fine and great server. Predictable configuration across all distros. Why I wrote this predictable configuration? As you know that Linux has a directory like /bin /etc. all the configurations are stored in etc. all the server configuration goes here, or the server files, hosting files goes in .var. So it doesn't matter which Linux you are using, whether you're using Red Hat or CentOS or Fedora. The configuration that you have written for a Red Hat will also work on CentOS and Fedora. However, sometimes there could be minute changes, but they are rares. Availability and multiple flavors. You need server operating system, yes, we have. You need desktop, yes, Linux do have desktop. You need IoT operating system, yes, we have. Indeed, Raspberry Pi, that's a completely IoT device that's available for Linux. You name it, Linux has this. For mobile phone, you have Android, and even Ubuntu came up with their own operating system. However, it never came in market. Probably it's still in development phase. Then task automation is highly efficient. Why this is? Actually, Linux is CLI based. CLI based operating system. It's a mainly CLI based operating system. The GUI component is installed in Linux through a package. So all the things in Linux you can do with CLI. Even if you do not have GUI, there is nothing that you cannot do. And this offers you can write scripts. And if you can write scripts, you can automate whole Linux operation. So task automation is highly efficient in Linux. Massive availability of troubleshooting knowledge base. And why this is because of this open source. Since Linux is an open source operating system, it hosts a very large community that works on it, produces modules for it, improves it. People face problems, they post problems on different forums, and there are so many good people out that use Linux. They solve these problems. Therefore, we have a massive knowledge base, and no single company, entity, organization owns it. It's free, available on internet. And non-predatory licensing. Non-predatory, why? What do you mean by non-predatory? See, we have a commercial companies like Microsoft. What they do, they release their product in multiple editions. Suppose evaluation edition, then express edition, and then professional edition, then enterprise edition, and they charge different fees. However, these two remain free. For evaluation free for less 30 to 60 days, and express is free for educational purposes. Along with it, they give you some kind of a bundled product. Like for startups, they have some sort of new program, let's say program X. So they will say that I will provide you all my licenses of all the licenses of my product for 1 year without any charge. Okay, but while designing their license agreement, they will insert a clever clause in it that all the license agreements can be changed at any point of time without giving you any prior notice. And that's how they use predatory licensing. They change it sometime, even after 1 year or just before completing 1 year, and they demand huge sum that runs from 10 to 20 million as their licensing fees. Since a new company, a budding company, subscribe for this licensing, they've developed products, sold, let's say they did business for, let's say, 10 million, and once they have all the information, Microsoft have all the information, they start claiming, now give me just 5 million as my licensing fee since you use this much of product. All these are the predatory licensing, and this is very common across Microsoft, Adobe, and CorelDRAW, AutoCAD. They all do this. But in Linux you do not have such problem. Why? Because Linux, since it's open source and freely available, therefore the economic model of harvesting this technology for the commercial purposes is different. In Linux, companies like Red Hat charge for support. They charge for updation. Updation means like there's a proprietary product of Red Hat. Okay, some sort of a package that developed by Red Hat. So if you need any update on that, then you will be charged, updated. So this model gives the product freely, but charge the service on it. However, Microsoft and other gives product for a license and then charge some annual fee for service. So this kind of a predatory licensing is not visible in Linux, and that's a very beautiful thing. Literally beautiful. If you are not stuck in a problem, it's literally beautiful. Where Linux don't play well, since Linux is a great operating system, has a comparatively lenient licensing policy, but we don't see Linux around us. We see Windows, most of it. Why? The reason is that first thing that gaming, that's a very big reason. Suppose you are a desktop user, home-based desktop user, that you use just media and game, then Linux is not for you. Literally for now on, but gaming has begun. They have developed a special OS called Steam OS that is actually gaining popularity among online players. So is still in budding. That's why this is one of our advantage. And why this is because Linux is an operating system. They provide all of the codes of the packages or the systems or the software. So if the gaming company started to give their packages, then how will they will make money from it? That is why the gaming is not yet at the par with other operating system. Nav users get headache. That's literally true. Even playing an MP3 on Linux can give unexperienced user a massive headache. Massive headache. So this Linux is not for untrained, unexperienced users, because they will face problems in every second step. Linux is not for everyone and not for every day. However, operating systems like Linux, Mint, and Elementary OS, and Ubuntu, and their flavors like Mate and all the things, they're trying to change this, and they had done quite in a significant way, but still there is a miles to go. Availability in multiple flavors causes confusion. Yes, that does. How many distros you have? I will say that more than 3,000 distros of Linux are available in the market. 3,000 different flavors of a single operating system, which suits you. It's a kind of a research project in itself. If you are a user and want to choose a correct and perfect operating system for you that fits your media needs, office needs, gaming needs, then it's a headache. Hardcore desktop user market has a multi-dimensional requirement. Why I say multi-dimensional? Because they want great media, they want games, cool graphics, speed, and support, and these all things together creates a very complex problem. Suppose, think about it: cool graphics, game, and media. Then if you will combine these three aspects, then this is a resource intensive operating system, and if you put under low resources, speed will drop. Since Linux itself is an operating system, no company owns it, so how going to get a support? That is why Linux we don't see around much. So you can ask a question: if Linux, if every, as I said that every Linux is same and there are more than 3,000 flavors, so every Linux is same, then why I choose RHEL to make Red Hat Enterprise Linux to make this tutorial, and why focus on specifically RHEL? I could have taught you about anything like Ubuntu, Gentoo, or Fedora, but why choose RHEL? The answer is that every Linux is same, but as you keep digging deeper, things start to change. Yes, at conceptual level, at the first impression, every Linux is same. However, as we keep moving forward and going to be more technical, things do change. That is why we have more than 3,000 flavors, because each one of them different from another in some sort of way. Second thing, RHEL is used by most of the enterprise. Yes, it is a commercial operating system, however it charges only for its services, not for the product itself, but services. So it's used by enterprise, and if you want to make yourself a career in Linux administration, then you need to have a certification from RHEL. That is why I chose RHEL operating system to make this tutorial. So how actually this tutorial going to be unfolded, what are the topics and how this course will further progress is a list. That first I will teach you about the Linux installation, how to install the Linux. Afterwards I will teach you the basic commands like file directory navigation, how to change directory from one directory to another, and create a file, view a file, all the basic commands. Then directory structure, how the Linux is structured, as I told you about that, that Linux has a predictable configuration. So if you know the directory structure, you can compare this directory structure with another operating system directory structure, then you will know that how predictable that configuration is. Editors has editors like VI, VIM, and EMCAS, kind of editor which you used to create a configuration files and edit files in Linux. Then user management, just like any other Windows or any other operating system, creating a user, multiple users, managing them, giving them permissions and restricting them. So all these things will be in user management. Then group management, permissions will be like ACL, access control list, and which user can access which kind of file, which user will have no restricted permission, which will have only just to read certain directories. Mounting, like when you insert a pen drive in a Linux system, so it goes in it goes in slash dev directory and gets a name for itself. For pen drive it is probably SDB, so it's a device. Then we will mount this device on a folder. Then we'll mount this device on a folder so we can access the content of this. This is a mounting will be taught after the permission. And the partitions, how do we part the disk in Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Afterwards, output redirection and piping. This is a very important topic, and it is very, very important if you are going to put your hands on scripting and automation. This is very important for scripting and automation, and this is very beautiful and easy to learn. RPM package installation, how do we install an RPM package in a Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Then after yum installation, this is another package manager that deals with some of the shortcomings of the RPM. And scripting, how to write a script, execute a script, and all other things. Quota management, which user has how much allowance of a disk space, all of the things will be taught in a quota management. And linking in Linux, that's not so much important, however very interesting topic, and you will learn few things. That in Windows we have a shortcuts, we just right click and choose a shortcut to make it on desktop, but in Linux that's a different. There's a two kind of a link, hard link and soft link, and they behave differently. So we will learn this. Servers, there's a various kind of server like DNS server, DSCP server, telnet server. All these servers will be taught in this tutorial. And recovery, in last you will be taught what will happen if you have lost your root password. Then what will you do? We will teach you how to recover the root password or change the root password when you have lost it. So friends, these are all the topics that will be taught here in this video series. So please stay tuned at Layman Expert, and do subscribe these both channel, and give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and share it with your friends and peers so they can learn from here as well. And please do subscribe these two channels. Thank you. Have an awesome day.